Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Beer with the Boss, that podcast where a guy and his boss share a beer and talk about technology and many other topics. Remember, you just have to let us know what you want us to talk about, and we will make sure to talk about it in one of our episodes. Before we start, please remember to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and activate notifications so you will know whenever we have a new episode. Live. I'm Rodrigo Matos. I work at Webera, and as usual, I have here with me my boss, Joel Zamboni. Hey, Joel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for the introduction, Rodrigo. Really appreciate. And I want to also let you know, guys, that you join here. We also add other places. We have Amazon, Google Podcasts, Apple, basically Spotify that we originally had. So we are trying to be as accessible as possible. So you have more options now to listen to us.
That's amazing.
And,
no excuses.
Let's start straight. Seems that we have a different guy here today. What's happening?
Yeah. There's a different vibe here today. We have a different person. We have our first guest, and it's not any guest. It's our workmate and friend. He's a DevOps engineer, Otávio Soares. How are you, Otávio? Welcome.
Hello, Rodrigo. Hello, Joel. Well, I'm doing fine around here. Really appreciate the invite, and what we're drinking today.
That's a good question.
Yeah, this is the right place. Okay, yeah. All right.
Now you understand why he was the first guest.
Yeah. See.
So I will.
Yeah.
I'll send you right back to you, Otávio. What are you drinking today, man?
Well, today I'm drinking an Franciscaner or something. It's a Dunkel beer from Munich.
Yeah. I've heard they know how to brew beer there.
Some people say.
Yeah. How about you, Joe? What are you drinking today?
I am drinking a Newcastle brown ale, which I just find out that's made in US and is part of Heineken. So I lost a little bit of the taste.
Right. I guess Otávio's beer is also like a stout or something, isn't it, Otávio?
Actually, it's a Dunkel, but yeah, it's not that strong as a stout, but
I'm drinking a Hoegaarden. It's Belgian, right? It's a wheat beer. It's one of my favorite beers, actually. It seems to be very old, like 1445 was the year it started being brewed, but it's also being brewed in Brazil now. So I think it loses a little bit of its essence.
Yeah, anyway. The water changes the whole thing, right? People say
the water.
When I grew up in Brazil and started learning about beer, I remember people always want to drink beers from Agudos, which was a city in São Paulo. Like if the beer was from like Skol or Brahma, local beers in Brazil, they would want to drink from Agudos. If it was Antarctica, they want to drink from another city, Cuiabá, in the middle of this thing. But like that was like, okay, then after I grew up, it's like, oh, the water makes the difference.
Yeah.
So I guess, yes, you can brew the same way, you can have the same ingredients, but the water would not be the same, so it would be hard to replicate the taste. Anyway.
And you need a lot of water to brew beer, right? I mean, I guess we can talk about the brewery process one day, but apparently you need a lot of water to brew some beer. Welcome again, Otávio. Well, guys, we invited Otávio today because it's a very special episode. We want to talk about the DevOps market, and well, nothing better than having a DevOps engineer with us to talk a little bit about that. And Otávio, I want to start asking you, man, right away. How is the DevOps market right now from your perspective as a DevOps engineer? And we hear that there are a lot of opportunities, but I want to ask you if that's true or not. How do you see that?
Today is, my LinkedIn is popping as like 5 or 6 a day of requests, and some of them even, hey, talk to us, here's a gift card or something like this. So at that market, it's pretty wild right now. They are definitely hunting people, and there are many people to the market right now. Like everybody's open to work most of the time, so it's pretty hard to find good people right now, and most importantly, good people that will stay in the company. So yeah, the market is pretty hard right now.
Did I hear it right? You get a gift card to participate in an interview?
Yeah, like
That's interesting.
There are not many, but there are some companies that are sending you like, hey, schedule a meeting with us, just hear what we have to say, and here's a gift card, and that kind of stuff.
That's amazing. A little bit wild, I'll say, right? It's crazy. And Joel, from your perspective as a recruiter, as a CEO in a company that is always looking for new DevOps engineers, how do you see this?
So I see the other way around. So when like you open a position, there's a bunch of people who apply to the position, but very few of them have the skills or the knowledge or wants to learn in some case, right? People comes with like a development background. They want to be a DevOps, but they don't want to give up the idea of using the old process of non-automated things. Like they want to embrace their code and do everything again. So it's like that's not really DevOps way to do things. So it's pretty hard to find good people, and it's harder to find good people who wants to keep working with us long term. So it's I think it's most of the like here in US you see a lot of open jobs. So there's definitely something going on with the market after the pandemic. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, DevOps especially, it's really and also on the company side, right? Normally when you start doing DevOps, if you grow too fast your team, you end up with a lot of automation, and you end up to reducing your need for a DevOps team. So that's why I think we as a company have a better opportunity to have a team who can help companies in like short period of time and fixing.
I want to go back to you, Otávio, with that with that first question I made in terms of course, the gift card is something different. You don't spot it everywhere. But what do you think DevOps engineers look for when they spot a new opportunity or when a new opportunity knocks their door? What do you think they look at, or what would you look at when you spot a new opportunity in terms of a company?
As for me, as a person, like my personal side, I will always aim for stability at first. Of course, I think for most people, most important thing is the payment, like how much I'm going to earn. Especially today, if people are really aggressively trying to recruit you. It's not like sometimes in DevOps you get bored doing the same thing every day. Like you have the same problems every day, and from time to time that becomes a bad routine. So you don't grow, you don't learn new things. So I guess the third most important thing would be the challenge. Like what's the new text that you're using? Like what kind of innovation do you propose, and that's kind of stuff. Like,
so I want to ask both of you the same question now, because I know you've participated in like selective processes together. Before I ask the question that we're all waiting for, I want to ask another one, which is, Joel, you kind of already gave us that answer, but I would like to hear specifically, what do you look for in a candidate? Like, what kind of candidate do you want or you try to find? And for you, Otávio, as you participate as well in a lot of processes, a lot of interviews, what do you look for as a DevOps engineer in a teammate that will work with you? So let's start with you, Joel. What do you look for in a new person to your team?
So first of all is technical ability, technical knowledge. That is the first thing, right? Then the second thing is the ability, because we are a remote company, we have to look for the ability to self-manage, right? To finish your work, to track your own tasks. And the third one, do you want to learn new things? Because if you come here to, I already know everything, it's not going to fly, because we have a different way to do things, and we will have a different to do things next year. So I think it's always changing. We are always learning the ways to do things faster and faster. That's part of the DevOps. So I think those are the three most important things that I look on a candidate. Of course, then there is the HR people that do other things, and then the technical teams also are part of the interview process. So that's kind of the way we work here right now.
Awesome. And how about you, Otávio? When you are evaluating somebody that could potentially work with you in the same team, what kind of things do you pay attention to?
In an interview, first thing I will evaluate, it's probably if the person is on time. Because man, don't go late for job interview. That leaves a terrible impression. I guess the second thing is how the person expresses itself. Like, you don't work with a rock. Like, especially if you need to work remotely, you need to communicate. So that thing that, dev people, they just code and live in caves and don't talk to anybody, that's dying right now, because you need to know how to talk to people. You need to interact with whatever is the client or the persons with you work with, or a dev from another company. But so you definitely need to know how to pass your deal, like what you're thinking, how you're going to solve the problem that was proposed to you. So yeah, that's really important right now.
And I want to ask you two the same question. You've been holding a lot of interviews with many candidates over the years. Do you have anything like funny, any stories that don't happen every day that you would like to share, that you could share with us? Of course, without mentioning who the person is, of course. Just a disclaimer.
I guess in interviews, we kind of do a filter. Basically, most of the interviews remotely, the things that happen is like the guy starts to talk, and then we make a question or we send something to answer, and then the guy never like the guy leaves the call and never joins again. So things like that, and then we never talk to the guy again. Or there are some bad things that happen also, like you start to talk with the guy and then he'll, you want to open the position for me? I was like, there is a description. Like, I was like, no, which kind of work is? Work with who? It's like, let's go to the interview. Oh no, you're like, the guy starts to screaming, like to write stronger words because you don't want to tell the clients, like, no, let's talking. It's like, why do I have to open something to you before we even talk? And that doesn't work. But that after the interview, like first day job, that's where the things really happen. Because as much as you try to do the interview, when you don't see the person work, like when you see they interacting with the team, and we understand that because of the high demand of those professionals, it's pretty hard to keep a long interview process. So we have events like an example. One person started work on the company. She had a first meeting with the internal team and the client, and an hour later she left. It's like, what happened? And it was too much for me. I think you guys you are much more than what I know. It's like, I will not be able to handle your work. It's like, okay. And then we have a filter. I will give the filter here. So if someone is trying to enter the barrel, we'll learn about this filter.
Pay attention,
Our
everybody.
Our VPN is our filter. If you're not able to configure the VPN when you join, it's kind of our last filter. And then there's some pretty funny stories about the VPN, but I'll let you, Otávio, talk about that.
Yeah, like about the interviews, I have a pretty strange one. Like, I don't know if Joe was not online that day, so he wasn't part of the interview. There was a guy, of course I'm not saying his name here, he was like on the background, like if he was seated on a bar table, like a bar table or in the middle of the dining room. So far so good, right? Not everybody has gamer tables with automatic leveling and all that stuff. So that guy was a pretty funny guy. Like there was a mess behind him, like bunch of boxes and junk stuff on the background. And he was a guy that was looking for work because he was originally from Cuba and he moved to Uruguay, but now he was at United States because his last job didn't allow him to travel. So it was like, how come this is possible? So like it was too many country jumps. It was, and his interview, like he was asking for a ton of money and was like, man, you like it's just a DevOps, not a CEO.
Yeah,
it was like
some of.
I guess this thing like that work remotely, some people didn't get used to it yet. Like they think, oh, I'm working from home, so everything should be informal. Like I will work whenever I want. I will do whatever I want. So yeah, people didn't get used to it yet. So
yeah, that's funny though. All right, guys, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Otávio. Thank you so much for coming today. I'm sure this is only the first episode you're going to be here with us. I'm sure you have a lot of stories to share as well about other topics. And well, Joel, thank you again for another great episode.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Otávio. Thank you, Rodrigo. See you next episode. And guys, thank you for joining. And let's keep up.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And let us know what you think of this episode in the comments. Let us know who you want us to invite to our next episode. And we'll be back next week with another beer, with another topic, and maybe with another guest. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, Otávio. Thank you.